Telangana Jagruthi ఆధ్వర్యంలో అంతర్జాతీయ యువ నాయకత్వ సదస్సు నోవోటెల్లో ప్రారంభమైంది. ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి 110 దేశాల నుంచి 500 మందికి పైగా ప్రతినిధులు హాజరయ్యారు. ప్రముఖ సామాజిక కార్యకర్త అన్నా హజారే సహా తెలంగాణ జాగృతి అధ్యక్షురాలు కవిత ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో పాల్గొన్నారు. ప్రస్తుతం కవిత మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
So I urge upon the intellectual community in this conference to focus more on this aspect of the youth development, because after all, youth also means young women, not only young men. So I truly urge the intellectuals in this conference to focus more on young women. And in some aspects, I was speaking about rich and poor nations, but in some aspects, however, the best and the worst performing countries are similar. The issues like unemployment, issues like drug abuse, issues like mental disorder, these rates among the young people are equally worrying in all the nations alike, both rich and poor. So these problems across the globe in both these countries are there, and I believe they are interconnected. And as I mentioned earlier, these are all created by human beings. But the solution to these problems also has to come from the human beings. But as the conference is rightly named, this is a youth leadership conference. And why do we have this conference? Because the people who created these problems were not able to show the solution. We, the current policy makers, are not being able to show the solutions. So I believe the youngsters who have traveled half of the globe, came to this conference, have a fresh look at the life. They have a fresh understanding of the problems. You have a better view of the problems. So I believe the youngsters who are present here today can come up with newer solutions, and that can truly change the world. I believe, as they say, when you change the way you look at the things you look at also change. So I believe this conference can certainly make a very good starting point in addressing these issues. I mean, I'm a policy maker. With the right policies and investment in the youngsters, countries can truly develop and progress. But I would like to share this with you. Today in the world, how many nations are truly investing in youngsters? How many countries have youth policies? How many countries have governments investing systematically in youth policies? I know India has a youth policy, but are we investing as much as we need to invest in our youth? I don't think so. Are any other nations in the world doing that? I don't think so. How does that change? That will only change when the youngsters rise to the occasion, fight for their rights. And how do we individually fight for our rights in every nation? And that is why this conference is held, where I wanted to make sure we give it a serious attempt to create a network of various organizations in every nation, where these youth organizations act as a pressure groups on the governments of each nation to make sure these governments invest on the youth the right amount that is need to be invested. So this is the core of the conference. But I would urge the youngsters present here, do not think that this is too big to achieve. Do not think that this is something undoable, because everything that was done in this world has started with a single step. And this conference can be that one first step to achieve changes in the world. And as you know, human innovation has defied gravity, and we know fundamentally universe itself is limitless. So I believe we can do this. And for those of you who think that this is all very quixotic and very imaginary, I would like to quote Mahatma Gandhi ji. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. So I believe this can be the first step for the youth of the globe to win. And thank you so much for all of you for being here. Thank you. Jai Telangana, Jai Hind.